Hey everybody, this is Kirsten here. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. So excited that you have decided to spend a little bit of time with me today. Today we're going to talk about gym etiquette. And this is a really great topic and suggested to me by one of my clients. And I think it's a really, really great idea. And it might be helpful for specifically for those people who are newer to the gym, but also why not to those who have been going to the gym for a while and just maybe don't know some of the things that are okay to do at the gym, some of the things that are not okay to do at the gym. So I think this will be a great episode for all of you. So before we get started with this topic, please make sure that you are already a member of my Fit and Field Facebook group. It's a really great group, and I'm sharing a lot of content there that I don't share here or on my Instagram either. And this is only for my group members. I also go live there usually 3 days a week. I talk about different topics. Lately, I've been also adding more exercise demonstrations because we all know that form is really important when we strength train, so that first of all, we don't get hurt. And secondly, we can get the most out of our workouts, because if our form is good, then of course our results will be better. And also with good form, we can load the exercise a little bit more. We can use heavier weights without being afraid of getting hurt. So I've done videos about proper form, deadlifting, squatting, overhead pressing, all that. This morning just did a live about how to do push-ups properly, because push-ups are often part of many strength programs, and no matter what kind of strength training experience you have, whether it is like actual heavy strength training and bodyweight training, or it is boot camps, or if you have been doing something at home, or if you have been on a vacation and you don't have access to heavy weights, you have just wanted to get something done, you have probably done push-ups. And I will say that a lot of people are making a lot of mistakes here. It's something that I saw a lot when I was teaching boot camps. So in today's live, I actually went over the proper form and technique for that. But I cover also a lot of other topics when it comes to our health and fitness and overall longevity and hormonal health as well. So make sure that you join the group. The link is in the show notes, and also on YouTube. If you look at the description, you find the link there. So let's move on to today's topic, and this is what to do at the gym, what not, what you shouldn't be doing at the gym. And there are some rules that are not always written rules, but everybody should know. And I have mostly two big categories here. First of them is about weights, right? How to work with weights. And the second category is how to deal with people at the gym, right? Should you talk to them? Should you not talk to them? When is that okay? When is not? And then I have the third small category, which is just other, right? Some other things that I would put in here too that are not specifically about weights or people. So let's get then started. So the first kind of gym rule when it comes to using weights is that please put your weights back after you are done using them. So sometimes I've heard that people think that, personal trainers, other people who work at the gym, it's their job to put the weights away, but it's not, right? This is not their job. Maybe at the end of the day, if there's a mess and they're closing up the gym, yes, they have to put the stuff away. But during the day, when the gym is busy and people are lifting, then it's everybody's own responsibility to put away the weights that they were using. So please don't be that person who leaves her dumbbells on the floor and who leaves the barbell loaded. So luckily, I don't see that very often, that there's a barbell in the rack with like big plates on it, but rarely. Sometimes I do. What I do see quite a bit though, and this is almost every day when I go to the gym, I see it, I would say, yeah, almost daily, is that the sled, right? If you know what I mean, the sled that you push is kind of like on a more like a carpet area. It's like a big thing that you push, and you can load it, put bumper plates on it. So people who are done with that sled push, they often leave their plates on that. And I don't know why this is so common, but please don't do that, because it's a lot of work for somebody who doesn't want all these weights on the sled to unload it, right? So make sure that you put everything away, put it back to where you got it from, so that you clean up after yourself. The second thing is specifically about using dumbbells, and that is please don't stand directly in front of the dumbbell rack when you are lifting weights. So what people sometimes do is that they grab their dumbbells, whatever the weight is that they need, and then they stay standing right in front of the rack so that now nobody else can get close to the rack and get another type of weight that they need, right? So take a step back, take like 2 steps back so that people can walk as they need to if they need to get another weight, and you are not blocking them. Because honestly, this is quite annoying when you see that a person is just standing there and dumbbells are waiting and you could go and get them, but you just can't because they're just standing so close to the rack. The next piece of advice that I have for you is to don't drop your dumbbells right after you are done with your set. A lot of times people just, let them go and boom, let them fall on the floor. Now, when you're working with a barbell, there is an exception there. So if you use bumper plates on your barbells, bumper plates are the heavy plates that are covered with this kind of rubbery material. So those actually, they're fine to drop if you need to. For example, you finish your last heavy deadlift and you can just let go of that weight and it kind of bounces off the floor, it's fine. But you can only do it with bumper plates, really, right? If you have those metal plates, then don't do it. The noise is just crazy, right? And then with dumbbells, don't ever drop them because dumbbells are not designed to be this way. So, or they're not designed to be used that way. Because when you think about a barbell and you have those plates there, there's a little bit of bounce that they kind of move around a little bit. It's okay. But dumbbell is one solid structure. You actually don't want to drop it, or kettlebells either. Don't drop them. It's not good. And it can also be really loud. So don't drop the dumbbells. The next piece of advice that I have for you is don't hoard equipment. Okay. So if you're doing a workout that has maybe a circuit in there and maybe even like 3 to 5 exercises, and you need a different weight for every one of them, that's actually not very good behavior at the gym. So now you grab 5 different things, right? You have dumbbells of like 15 pounds and 25 pounds and 30 pounds. And then you also use the barbell, and then you also use a sandbag, and you just do like a little circuit there. And this is just too much stuff. Probably other people want to use these things too. So please don't be that person. Do maybe like supersets, like most two exercises at a time if you need to. But in general, I would say that even supersets, don't overdo supersets. That's not actually good programming to do too many supersets all the time. But if you need to do them, that's fine. If you have 2 sets of dumbbells, sometimes you do like a drop set where, let's say, you start your chest press with 30s, and the design of the program is such that you're going to do as many repetitions as you can, and then you finish your remaining reps with, let's say, 20 pounds or something like that. In this case, it's okay if you have like 2 different types of weights. But if you have 5, then this is just too much, and you're using the stuff that other people want to use too, and that's actually not just too nice at all. Okay, the next thing is that when you are lifting, then don't block someone's mirror, right? So you probably have noticed most gyms have big mirrors, and they're really there for form check. And if when you grab your weights and you're getting ready to lift them, then look around you, see if you might be blocking somebody's view, because that's not good, right? They want to see what their form is like. And now if you are standing there, they just cannot do it. So just be really aware of that and just move to the side a little bit so that you are not blocking them. The next piece of advice today is give people some space. Don't go too close to them. And sometimes it's hard to do, especially at peak hours at the gym where it's really, really crowded. It is harder, but it's still doable. Just make sure that you give people their room, right? You don't want somebody to be very, very close to you as either. And especially when they're doing exercises such as, let's say, lateral raise, when their arms go out to the side, you just cannot be too close to that person. Otherwise, it's not going to end that well. And even if it's not that exercise, it's something else that's not necessarily, extending their arms to the side or legs to the side or something like that. Just being too close, it's it's a little annoying. It's like, why are you coming into my space, right? I want to do my exercise here. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Don't go super close to them, and look around you. Maybe there's a spot somewhere you can just, walk maybe to the, a little bit left or a little bit right or back and forward to see where you can find that space. So give people their space, and also don't stand in front of their mirror. All right, so the next thing that I have for you is use a towel and or wipe down the bench after you have used it, right? And especially if you made that bench visibly sweaty or dirty, right? So let's say that you finish your bench press and there's like all your sweat marks on it. It's nice to wipe it down, because nobody wants to lay down like in your sweat, right? So do that. Sometimes, when you're just warming up and you have clothes on, and you just touched, clothes on, obviously you have clothes on at the gym, but longer clothes, and you don't make things like super sweaty. I think it's fine that you just sit on the bench and get up and don't wipe it down. That's my personal opinion. But if it's like visibly you can see that there's sweat on the stuff, or you're using the Stairmaster, which is something where people sweat a lot. If you have never used the Stairmaster, great butt builder, don't use it. But people just like dripping with sweat, right? And then the handles and everything sweaty, and then you don't wipe it down. It's kind of gross. It's not nice at all. And when you're, doing seated exercise or lying down, most gyms have little towels that you could use. So you can put that under your butt, or you can put the towel under your back when you're doing bench press. So that way you don't make the bench super sweaty. So use that if you don't want to necessarily like wipe it down. But if you don't use it and you make the bench sweaty, please clean up after yourself. Okay, so we covered the points that I had about using weights and exercising. And now let's talk about the next category, which is about talking to other people at the gym, right? So the first thing I want to mention here is that it's okay to talk to people, but don't talk to people when they are either really getting ready for their set. You can tell that they are focused, right? So a lot of times, and that's how it should be, people are really getting focused. Let's say that they're just setting the bar up, and you can tell that they are really kind of, their mind is in there, they're getting ready, they're getting into their proper body position, they're kind of grabbing the bar and moving around. They're really, really focused on that lift that they're going to do in the next minute or so. It's not a good time to go and talk to them and just start like chit-chatting or whatever. And also, obviously, when a person is in the middle of a set, and this has happened to me, it's like when somebody wanted to ask like if she can use, or he or she can use, the equipment that was kind of close to me, but actually wasn't mine, or I wasn't using it. And it was in the middle of the lift that they came to ask me. And this is very uncomfortable, because when you are lifting, you are really focused on what you're doing. And if somebody comes and starts talking to you, it's very disturbing. So make sure that you wait until they finish their set to ask whatever you want to ask. And then also, make sure that you don't interrupt people when they are highly focused and just getting ready for their lift. Okay, the next thing is about working in. So working in, what does it mean? Let's cover that first. Working in means that you want to use the equipment that they are using. Somebody else is using it, you need it too. And that typically happens when the gym is packed, it's busy. And there are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, you can sometimes wait, right? Just like wait until the person is done, and then you can, in the meantime, do something else. However, I would say that always make sure that you do the big compound movements first, right? So for example, that that you're going to deadlift today, and then at the end of the workout, you have some ab work. Just because all the barbells are in use, don't do the ab work first, because you're going to need to use your abs for the deadlift too. So you don't want to get fatigued in that part of your body, right? So what you can do, if the gym is really packed, you can either wait, right? Or you can ask, can I work in? So work in means that you're going to use the same way, the equipment that the other person's using. However, you have to be really aware that it's okay to ask that if the weight is right for you, so, or at least similar. So let's say that the person is deadlifting 150 pounds and you want to put like 120 on the barbell. So you want to, remove some of the weights. That's going to be relatively quick, right? So you're just going to take a couple plates off or one plate off. But if the difference is really big, let's say the person is lifting 500 pounds deadlift, right? And you're going to deadlift 100, then this is not a good situation to go and ask that person, can I work in? Because it's going to take you guys forever to unload the barbell and then put the plates back on. And that's going to probably mess up the other person's rest period too. So be aware of that. If you need to work in, make sure that you go to a person who seems to use a similar weight, something that you need to use, so that you don't run into this issue where you have to like offload and unload the bar again, or load the bar again. Okay, the next point I have here is about spotting. So first of all, what does spotting mean? Spotting just means asking for assistance. So very common, especially when you're doing bench press, and you just know maybe you want to try what your max is, you want to challenge your strength, and then you also know that you don't want to do it alone because this is a new way for you. Maybe it's a PR, and you're kind of afraid, right? Am I able to get it off my chest? And there are some techniques that will allow you to get the barbell off relatively safely off your chest, but this is advanced, and I would much rather have you ask somebody to help you. And it's totally fine to ask for a spotter, and I think most people are totally fine if you ask. It really takes only a couple of minutes or less than 2 minutes for you to do the set, and they spot you. But again, the same rules apply that I told you before too. Talk to the person if they're not getting ready for their lift, or they're not lifting, at the very moment that you want to start lifting. So make sure that they're free, that they're actually available. And then it's totally fine to ask. And I think most people are actually happy to help you. All right, the next point to have here, and this is super important too, don't offer advice if it wasn't asked. So don't go there to start fixing people's form, telling them what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. If nobody asks you, just keep it to yourself, right? Everybody's there to do their own thing. And I think, well, maybe some people would appreciate if somebody came and corrected the form, but most people don't. And you probably don't want it either, especially if you're pretty sure about what you're doing. And now somebody comes and starts teaching you. That's not a good thing at all. So please don't do that. Okay, so covered that part as well. And lastly, I have two other pieces of advice that are that aren't about lifting necessarily, and that aren't about talking to other people. And the first one is to not use super strong perfume and hairspray and all that kind of stuff. So this can be very, very annoying, especially with people who have some respiratory stuff, right? Like asthma or whatever. But even if they don't, then it's very uncomfortable. If the person next to you is just overusing the perfume and hairspray, extremely uncomfortable, makes you cough, and it's not good at all. And the second one, which is also the last point today, and this applies more for smaller gyms. So for example, I have access to two gyms. One is in our apartment complex, which is a really small one, and I go there sometimes when I only need to get some dumbbell work done, and then I go to the bigger one. So in the smaller one, what I sometimes notice is people assume that nobody else is coming in there because it's a small gym, and most of the time, there's just one person working out, and a lot of times it's completely empty. So they assume that nobody's going to be there, and then they blast their music really loud, and then you go in there and the music's loud, and it's a little bit annoying, right? So make sure that you bring your headphones, right? Listen to your headphones. You don't have to put the music on a blast and play from your phone so that everybody has to listen to it. We have different preferences, right? So why would you think that everybody wants to listen what you want to listen to? So, but I think this applies mostly for smaller gyms, because bigger gyms, I mean, they have music in general, but most people are still using their own headphones. So these are the tips that I have for you regarding gym etiquette. Let me go over the list one more time. So the first one was put your weights back after you finished using them. Second one, when it comes to dumbbells, don't stand in front of the dumbbell rack when you're lifting. Number 3, don't drop dumbbells. And if you remember, dropping bumper plates, barbells with bumper plates can be okay, right, in certain situations. Number 4, don't hoard equipment. Don't have 5-6 different pieces of equipment with you. Number 5, don't block somebody's view when they are checking their form in the mirror. Number 6, give people some space. Number 7, wipe down or use the towel, especially if you if you're really sweaty. Then the next one is don't talk to people when they're just getting ready for the lift or they're in the middle of their lift. Number 9, ask to work in only if the weight is appropriate, right? And you share similar weight. Number 10, it's okay to ask for somebody to spot you, but again, make sure it's a good moment. Number 11, don't give advice if nobody asked you. And number 12, don't use perfume or strong hairspray or something like that. And then the last one is to use headphones if you're working out in a smaller gym, so that not everybody needs to listen to your music or listen to your podcast. All right. Thank you for listening to this podcast, though. I hope this was helpful for you. Please let me know. I'm always looking forward to hearing your feedback, and I hope to see you in my Facebook group and also talk to you very soon in the next episode. Thanks so much and take care.